If you're an investor or you're looking to invest in Miami or in the South Florida area, this video is going to be for you. Today we're going to be talking about the top mistakes that investors make when they purchase a property, specifically an investment property. So everything that we're going to be talking about is going to be focused on those investors or those of you that are looking to get started in investing. We're going to be talking about mistakes most commonly that I see and I read about and I hear about. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump into the video right now. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Hans Weisfeld, local real estate agent down here in Miami since 2016, helping investors and those of you that are looking to relocate to Miami, helping you get settled down here. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the top mistakes that I see investors make and people who are not investors yet, but they try to get into the investing world, and the top mistakes that I see that they make. All right, guys, so this is going to be very important if you're looking to invest, whether it's your first time or you're already a seasoned investor. I mean, Miami is a different beast, and it's important for you to get hear other opinions. Again, it's all from me, my opinions, what I see. I'm an investor myself, and just to hear me out and see if there's anything else, anything that I'm going to be telling you that maybe can help you. I mean, this could probably save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, lots of headaches and lots of trouble. Let's get started with the number one mistake. So the first mistake is the most important. That's going to be not analyzing the numbers. I mean, for those of you that are already seasoned investors, I'm sure you already know how to make your numbers. I've seen investors that I've worked with that have Excels with tons of different scenarios and breaking the numbers down, super advanced and super detailed, which is amazing. It is perfect. For those of you that are not there yet, it is important to learn and understand about numbers and how to then analyze these numbers when it comes to investing. For instance, you're gonna want to know how much cash you're gonna be coming out of pocket, right? Very important. How much cash total you're gonna be coming out of pocket. That is gonna be if you're gonna be financing, how much is gonna be the down payment, how much is gonna be the closing costs, all right? And then how much are you gonna need to repair the property, either if you're gonna be doing long-term rental, short-term rental, or even if you're gonna be doing flipping, right? What is the idea behind it, and how much money in total do you think? I'm sure you don't know exactly right now in the beginning, but you need to have a good idea. First, you need to understand how much budget you have, how much cash you have. You need to be realistic with yourself, right? There's a lot of mortgage calculators. You can reach out to me. I can definitely help you with this. But it's very, very important to know how much money you have and then if it's realistic or not. And then to get your return, to know how much return you're going to be making, you have to analyze or have approximate of how much you can rent this property out if it's going to be an investment property. All right, so you need to analyze how much you can possibly rent it out for long term, short term, or whatever you're looking to do. Multiply that times 12, right? Remove all the expenses throughout the year, and then whatever number you're left with, you're gonna divide that number into the cash that you've invested, whether you paid cash for the property or whether you financed whatever cash you put in. So that's gonna be your return on your investment, your ROI. Very important. There's a lot of people that don't know how to do this, okay? Very, very important to understand, because knowing your return, you're gonna say, okay, wait, is it worth it for me to invest all this cash, all this money, and get this type of return? Is there anything else that I can do better? Is there a better investment property? Is there something else that I can do? So that's the number one thing. And inside of these numbers, there's even more things that I can assure you that many people don't look at on this, and therefore it comes out of mistakes, right? So not understanding the numbers. Again, going back to, hey, who's gonna take care of the property, right? Are you gonna have a maintenance crew, a management team, right? If you're gonna be doing short term, it's gonna be around 15-20%, probably 25%. If you're gonna be doing long term, they may charge 5 to 10%. Okay, so you already have someone that's gonna be managing, or you're gonna be doing that yourself, or are you looking at those expenses? What other expenses are you gonna have? If it's gonna be a condo that you're gonna be purchasing, so is there assessments? Is there any assessments coming up? Is it in the talks? Have they talked about it? Have they already done it? Is it already paid for? So is that something that extra they gotta pay on top of the HOA fees? How much are the HOA fees? Are HOA fees gonna be going up? Have they already gone up, right? So these are all numbers. Everything that's a number, that's a possible number, money-wise, you need to understand, because that is where the mistake comes in. A lot of people just go by, they're like, okay, sure, these are the HOA fees, or these are the expenses per month, these are my numbers, great. And then they don't look at analyze anything else. And there comes a mistake. Once they buy the property and they start getting all these numbers, even talking about taxes, guys, now that I'm thinking about it, just taxes in general. I see this very, very often where people are looking online at different websites and looking at a property, they really like a property, start analyzing that property, and the taxes may be at $1,000 or $2,000 per year, which you need to keep in mind, that's almost impossible in today's world. Why? Because these people probably bought 10, 20 years ago. That's why they have their taxes so low. It's probably homesteaded. And there's a law that says it can only go up, I believe it's only 2% per year, something like that. So that's why it's gone up so little. When you buy the property, they're gonna evaluate the new price. They're gonna evaluate was the city. They're gonna evaluate, right, the county, and then they're gonna base the taxes off that. So you have to think about 3, 4, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, depends on the property, right? But definitely when you see something very low, you need to know that's not gonna be realistic. So please, the numbers, there's so much I could make a whole video talking about just the numbers. But this is where the main mistakes and most of the mistakes come in this one. Not understanding and analyzing your numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so again, if there's anything I can do for you to help you, I'll be happy to go over some numbers with you and see what makes the most amount of sense or not. The number 2 mistake is gonna be not having patience and overpaying. I see this also happen a lot, especially in today's market, where lately it's been really hot, a lot of demand, so you sometimes do have to overpay. Overpaying means paying a lot more than what the market is at, right? When I analyzed my property, I was already doing comparables, I was doing comparables, seeing what properties like mine sold around in the area, which is something that your real estate agent should be helping you, right? So getting the comps, and then you kind of get a better idea. So if you know that they're asking for a price and you know everything else is selling for a little bit more, then yes, you can overpay because you already know you're still within that price range, right, of the market value. For instance, everything is selling for $500,000, right? Everything is selling for $500,000. You're like, you know what, I'm gonna pay $550 because there's a lot of demand, it has a lot of offers, and I really want it. Fine, you have to really go back to step number 1, understand the numbers. If the numbers work, after you remove all the expenses, all the possible issues and scenarios that could happen, and the numbers still work, it makes sense, absolutely, go for it 100%. However, most of the time it doesn't really work like that. Most of the time, it's just about the person not having patience, so they're like, you know what, whatever, as the market is what it is, let's do it. So it's fine to go the other round, just say, you know what, let's just do it. But still, what I always recommend is, hey, have patience, understand your numbers, understand what you're looking for, and have patience. Run the numbers each time, and when something makes sense investment-wise, then absolutely pull the trigger and go for it. The third mistake that I see very often is that people, investors or buyers, don't really take into consideration how much money or how much work or time this property that they're gonna be purchasing actually needs, right? So a lot of people, they watch a lot of TV shows about flipping, about, you know, fixing the fixer-upper programs. So they go, they want to buy a property and they want to do the same thing without having too much experience by just watching TV, or maybe they've done it once a long time ago. Very big mistake. Be careful. Most properties are gonna need a lot of time. They're gonna need a lot of energy. They're gonna need a lot of, strategies behind it, depending on what you want to do. Right? If you want to do long term, then it may be a little bit more simple, but even then, you're probably still gonna have to do some work to the property. Like every time you buy a property, most likely it's gonna need something. I've even seen renovated properties that weren't done correctly, or that still were missing some things, because there were probably a flipper, an investor that flipped it, sold it to you as an investor, but they left out some things that were important. So it's very important to keep this in mind and say, hey, you know what? Always have a little extra cushion, a little extra money set aside for when you buy that property. You have this little money in order to do some things to it. There's always something that comes up. Believe me, every single time I see this, there's always something that comes up. So it's much better to be prepared and anticipate an issue or a potential problem or even something else that needs to be upgraded or fixed than to be at zero or to not calculate those numbers in. And then again, your return gets screwed and then your investment doesn't go as well. And then you start out bad, right? You start out maybe frustrated. But again, have that set apart. It's gonna make your life much easier. The number 4 mistake that I see very often is not having a backup plan. Exit strategies is what investors call it. It's very important to have a backup plan. For instance, if you're gonna be buying a property to do short term, Airbnb, whatever platform you wanna use or however you wanna do it, you need to have a backup plan. In case this doesn't work, in case another pandemic comes, what's gonna be your backup plan? All right, I rented out long term. And if you rent it out long term, do the numbers still work? Very important. This is something that I always look at and always tell my clients and my investors. Hey, perfect, let's work on the short-term goals. Let's focus on the short term. But let's just make sure that worst comes to worst, this property still meets all the numbers and it's still a good investment if we were to change it over to long-term rental. Okay, very important. If you're looking to flip, if you're a flipper, you want to buy something and flip it, even though in today's world it's extremely hard, but hopefully the next few months or the next few years it'll come back as a buyer's market and flipping will come back. But right now, let's just say you're flipping in the property and then the market changes, you calculated the numbers wrong, something happened and it doesn't make sense to flip. So if this doesn't work out, what's gonna be your exit strategy? Are you gonna be able to rent it? Are you gonna sell it and not make money and just waste 6 months of renovation or money, or what exactly you're gonna do? It's very important to have a backup plan, always. And lastly, to not make this video so long, the 5th mistake is gonna be not narrowing down on areas or neighborhoods or communities, sometimes even cities. Okay, there's a lot of people that reach out and there's a lot of people that I see that are looking and they're analyzing so much different areas and so much different cities. Some people say, okay, I wanna buy in Florida. Should I buy in South Florida, in Miami? Should I buy in West Palm Beach? Should I buy in Jacksonville? Should I buy in Pensacola? Should I buy in Sarasota? That's too much. Like, it's fine to have those thoughts. As an investor, it's your money, it's your investment. Yes, absolutely, go for it. But you need to start analyzing and narrowing down and seeing what you want. Why? Why is this a mistake? Because if you're analyzing so much different neighborhoods, right, and you're talking to so much different agents and looking at so much different websites, so much different properties, it's gonna be, first of all, overwhelming. It's crazy. Second of all, you're never gonna be able to understand the market. But it's fine to start out by having different cities or different neighborhoods, and then you have to narrow down yourself, most likely. Again, if you want to reach out, I can help you narrow down if we're talking about the Miami or the South Florida area. But other than that, I can't help you too much. You need to understand, you need to run your own numbers. You need to kind of just, maybe everywhere has similar numbers. I need to understand or need to know what you feel most comfortable with, or what's going to have more appreciation, where do you have more trust in, right? So it's very important, because once you have a neighborhood or a few neighborhoods, at least inside of a city, then you can start narrowing down, you can start searching more specifically, you can start knowing your numbers more, and you can start knowing exactly what you're looking for. So try to filter down as much as possible and then follow all the steps that I just covered in this video. Have patience, understand your numbers, run your numbers, the worst possible things, exit strategies, narrowing down, and then attacking, pulling the trigger, and making that investment happen. Guys, if you're looking to invest in South Florida or in Miami, please feel free to reach out. My team and I would love to help you. We can do a one-on-one Zoom call, private Zoom call, talk about everything in more detail. Again, I'm a numbers guy, I'm an investor myself, so I will be more than happy to help you and analyze some properties and run some numbers with you. Anyway, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm and my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.